everyone knows that Angel's Envy Rye is my favorite whiskey of all time. This year they released a special edition cask strength version. Is it worth camping out overnight at the distillery to get a bottle? If you want to find out, stick around.
All right, so as Lindsay mentioned in the intro, Angel's Envy Rye is her favorite whiskey of all time. And we have here on display a couple of special elements. One, we have your special Angel's Envy glass. You got that at the distillery, right?
The distillery.
Yeah. And next to that is your special bottle that I had engraved for you.
My whiskey partner in crime bottle.
Yeah. And that was right when Lindsay was really getting involved in the podcast and helping with the merch and all that stuff. And went on a trip, and I had that bottle engraved for her. Yeah. But we discovered that this bottle was special.
Oh, it's my favorite.
It's her favorite. And so what we do to try and find more?
We sent out an army of people to find batch 12L. It is long gone.
It's long gone.
Don't look for it.
Don't look for it. But
it was very like banana-y and it was just yummy. So,
yeah, bananas flambe for days.
I loved it.
Yeah, so normally just cinnamon sugar cookie, like a snickerdoodle is what I get. But this one was bananas flambe. Really interesting. We ended up locating 3 bottles?
I think so.
Yeah, 3 bottles.
Not me, our friends.
Our friends, you guys, actually. We called on the community to help. We found some in Utah, I think it was.
Something.
But another very special viewer who's a huge supporter of the show, Todd Taylor, knows that this is your favorite whiskey. And he actually camped outside of the distillery and brought somebody else with him that didn't necessarily want the bottle so that he could buy an extra. And he reached out to me beforehand and said, hey, if I could get an extra, would you want it for Lindsay? And I said, yes. And so this was my big Christmas present to Lindsay this year. Great big old surprise because those are very hard to get a hold of, but very interesting whiskey. So let's talk about the history of Angel's Envy real quick, since people have come to expect some history on our channel. So Angel's Envy was founded by Lincoln Henderson, who was a distiller for Brown-Forman. And he had a lot of influence at Brown-Forman. In fact, he's credited with helping to bring a Gentleman's Jack, which was the first new release that they had done in a very, very long time. But he also worked on Woodford when Woodford was originally launched. He ended up retiring and decided to start his own distillery with his son and his grandsons, which is Angel's Envy. And his whole idea was he wanted to use barrels that would influence the flavor of the whiskey the same way that they do in Scotland, but is not technically allowed here in the United States because all bourbon and rye has to be aged in new charred oak containers. And so he's really the one that popularized the concept of finishing whiskey, where you age it traditionally in a new charred oak container, and then you dump it into a used container for a period of time to impart flavor. This bottle is Angel's Envy. The release is Cask Strength Rye, finished in Sauterne and toasted oak. They don't tell you how long it was aged. They do mention that some of the barrels were aged for years in Sauterne barrels. These barrels, apparently, some of them had been used multiple times after the Sauterne aging. And so it was a more gentle influence. So they left the whiskey in for years. But we don't know what the total age of all of the different components were. This one is cask strength at 114.4 proof. The SRP was $285 with tax. The size is 750 ml. What do you say we taste it up? It's very sweet on the nose. Mm-hmm. I'd say it's got some traditional rye flavors to it.
Sure.
What do you get?
I feel like it's like oakier. Like it's got more oak flavor than the like traditional sweet rye that I'm used to.
Yeah, I would say on the palate, I'm getting that clove note that I get on rye whiskey. But in the mid palate, I taste a softer fruit that I think is coming from the Sauterne. I'd probably characterize it as apricot.
Okay.
And then I'm picking up that sweet oak. And I'm guessing that that's coming from the toasted barrels. This is a very complex whiskey with all of the big flavors of rye, all of the big flavors of a Sauterne finish, and all of the big flavors of a toasted barrel finish.
Is that where the like sulfury kind of? Could I get like just a touch of it? I don't normally get that but is that from the aging in the barrels?
Yeah, so there's a hint of sulfur, and that's coming almost certainly from the Sauterne barrels.
Okay.
So after they dump the Sauterne barrels, before they ship them to the United States, they'll often put a sulfite solution in them that's meant to prevent bacterial and fungal growth on the inside of the barrel. And most people can't taste it, but some people are more sensitive to ust than others, and I do get it. I'm super sensitive to it. I smelled it as soon as I smelled the whiskey. I tasted it as soon as I tasted it. But there's enough of the other larger flavors that it's integrated in there, and it's not super offensive to me. So I think that for the average person's palate, you may not even notice it.
I like it a lot.
But there's a little bit of like I just stuck a matchstick in my mouth. But it's like I said, it's under there. All right. So how would you rate this whiskey on a scale of 0 to 100? I'm gonna go 93 on this.
Okay, I was gonna say 92. So
okay,
we're
92,
close,
93. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. We're up there. But it is a bit expensive. $285 with tax. Okay, so would you rate? It's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
Would you rate this a buy or a pass at $285?
I'd say buy.
I'm thinking that this is a buy at $285. That's expensive.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of money. It's a non-age stated product. The packaging is superb. I mean, the top on this
I want
is,
can I take it off?
we'll just take a photo and we'll throw it in.
It has 2023 on the little thingy, and this is like
the glass is not their normal, flat face glass. This is custom glass. I mean, the packaging is beautiful. The whiskey is excellent. There's not much of it. They specifically said that this may be the only Cask Strength Rye they ever release. If I got offered a second bottle at $285, I'd pick it up.
okay.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be afraid to grab this if you had the opportunity to get it. I don't know what opportunities are still out there, but it is certainly an excellent whiskey. So let's give away some whiskey.
I'm very excited about this.
We are going to give away a 1-ounce sample of your Ice Cider cask, which I think we paid $35 for a 1-ounce sample at the distillery.
Gosh, I was not shopping smart.
No. I left her alone to talk to Wes, and I think she spent over $400.
I did not.
Yeah,
it was not. He's
and
including the bottle.
This is the Cask Strength, so we're going to give a 1-ounce sample of that. And we are going to give you a 1-ounce sample of Lindsay's special 12L that we sit scouts out all over the country to get.
That's a big deal. And my runner-up is 13H.
The runner-up is 13H.
So these are my faves.
And these have long since sold and are no longer available in the market. We're going to send you 4 1-ounce samples, and all you have to do to enter the giveaway is subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, share this with a whiskey-loving friend, and in the video description, there's going to be a link that you can click that's for the free giveaway. You give us your basic contact information. If you win, we reach out to you, get your address, and we mail your samples out to you absolutely for free. So that is pretty exciting stuff. If you like this content and you'd like to consider supporting the channel, obviously you can support by tuning in future videos. We are always going to be doing giveaways, so you're going to want to watch every single video that we do. But we also have a Patreon, and that's an excellent way to support us. It's not just support, though. We have a lot of Patreon benefits, a lot of really awesome whiskey industry experiences that you get to attend. Single barrels, we do live in person events. We have challenge coins. If you collect challenge coins, we've got all of that. And of course, you can support this channel by checking out our merch on our website, bourbonrolltalk.com/shop. There is a lot of whiskey accoutrement out there, aroma kits, custom tasting glasses, bottle carrying bags, storage for your sample bottles, lots of really great stuff. Hand-poured candles. And I also have to mention that I am a real estate agent. So if you need real estate services in the Dallas or Houston metro areas, please reach out to me. I give epic bottles as closing gifts.
That's true.
But that's all we have for you this week. We always sign off the same way, and that is, if you woke up this morning and you're unsure whether or not anyone loved you, just know that we love you. We'll see you next time on Bourbon Real Talk.
If you want to see how close my hair looks like to my 1993 glamour shot, stick around.
Yeah, stick around for that.
For the chia pet.
For the pet of the chia. Do your intro, pretty girl.
Okay, here we go. So my hair done. My bangs are stupid.
Your bakes are not stupid.
I always have a hard time saying Cask Strength Rye quickly.
You know that story in the Bible about the guy that's got all the sheep and the one guy's just got the one sheep and then they want to take it, you know? That's kind of how you are with your whiskey, because I have like 700 bottles.
Yeah.
But you just have like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And so it's okay for you to feel a little protective of your special bottles. 4 1-ounce samples, and all you have to do